Wonder Woman Tasmanian Devil Special number 1. Written by Tony Bedard, pencils by Barry Kitson, inks by John Floyd, and colors by Laverne Kinzerski. Again, sorry if I mispronounce any names. Princess Diana of Themyscira is walking through the Tasmanian woods in search of a devil of a beast to aid her. Of course, she knows of the Tasmanian devil because they've met before. Flashback to her trials of puberty, where she had to show her strength, cunning, wits, and all that jazz. For her final test, though, she went into the labyrinth to seek out one of the major guardians. After getting chased by skeletons into a wall portal thing, she's in Tasmania, confronted by Taz himself, who's very vocal about his want to eat her, yet Diana does understand him, which surprises him, but of course she's still not allowed to leave, since he's an angry devil and does his spinning, dashy tornado thing. But young Diana uses her musical skills to lull him to sleep, to steal one of his hair horns and run back to say that she did it. So now, back in the present, Diana needs the Tasmanian devil's help to find the Minotaur to get his amulet to turn her people back from stone, since Circe the sorceress turned them to stone. Taz agrees to help her for a grand feast she promised way back in the day, and they venture forth. First, they stop to get his magic armor, and then there's an understanding between the two, when using the lasso so he could talk clearly, or as clear as Taz can anyways, but then they venture to the Minotaur. The Minotaur berates Taz for siding with a stranger and not his friend, but Taz brings the place down because he likes Diana. They get the amulet, save the day, with Taz getting his grand feast after. The Looney Tunes half of this isn't a separate thing, but actually takes place right after the end of the DC story, and it's the reason this whole thing is actually worth a buy. It's Taz in his food coma after the giant banquet, and basically it's a retelling of the fall of Troy as done by the Looney Tunes. It's phenomenally drawn and written, though I've heard people who didn't like it because it didn't look stock Looney Tunesy. This really does embrace the Merry Melodies bit, and is entirely in rhyme, and is just a fun breakdown of the Iliad and the Helen of Troy story, because that's probably the best detail everyone will know about it. Yet it does have a happier ending, since Taz is playing Paris after all. So the overall is that I didn't really like the DC story portion of this. It is a good one-shot Diana story, but Taz could really be any generic monster in this. It's not bad, but I never got the why it's Taz connection. With Batman, I at least got it because Elmer Fudd is basically the only human, and typically the one opposed to all the anthropomorphic animals. With Martian Manhunter, I got behind it because Marvin is also a Martian. Yet I only got this because Taz is a monster. But like I said, it's not bad, but it's definitely a Wonder Woman story. That is until we reach the Looney Tunes half, and hot damn does it make me feel all sorts of nostalgic for the old cartoons and the fun parodies they would do. Obviously, I'm gonna have to drop the reference to What's Opera Doc, especially since the horse from that is the Trojan horse here. So, I do think this is a neat take because it's not like the last two I read, because this is one story that splits the DC and Looney Tunes route with the characters and not just two separate stories, so that also adds a bit of fun to it. So my verdict, which I did say earlier, is that this is definitely worth the buy. Buy it means that it is worth the price of admission, and you should definitely check it out. Especially if you are a fan of Wonder Woman or Taz, you'll definitely get a kick out of this, enough to not feel ashamed for buying it. But that's all for today. If you agree with me that this was worth the buy, or if you disagree and felt that this was off key, then leave a comment below. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and please donate to the Patreon to better the channel. But just liking and sharing us around helps even just a little bit. And as always, stay golden, Inklings.